Good morning, my chads in training. Welcome back to another episode of the Body Development 2K Club. Well, I say episode, it's more like a video log where I basically just tell you how I'm feeling and stuff so you can make sure that I don't actually die when doing this kind of crazy extreme diet. And it's the last scan I'm going to get for phase 2 at the end of February. So we can do a bit of a wrap up and discuss the differences between this scan and my previous scan. But first and foremost, something I do want to show off, progress pictures. At this point, we've made huge progress from where we were back in January 3rd, and you can really start to see the definition coming through. Still not like the Instagram six-pack abs just yet, but of course there's still time for that, and I've gotten to this point much faster than I anticipated. My weight on the scale when I did the scan was 68.1, which is a little bit heavier than the scan during the week, but there's other reasons for that. Normally when I do the scans at home, when I do the weigh-ins at home, I just do them completely naked. Obviously at the gym, I can't do that, so I'm going to be wearing some shorts. Usually I use the bathroom before I step on the scale, and because of the timings where I'm going into the gym to get the scan, don't really have time to do that this morning. So this is the scan that we've got, and it's telling us I am 78.1. which is great. That's an entire 11 kilos down from where I was at the start of January, and even technically 12 on one of my other weigh-ins during on Sunday. So taking a look at the scans themselves, I'll put these photos up here so you can sort of see them, but it's probably a bit easier if I just read out the stats. My stats today, my total weight was 68.1 kilograms. My skeletal muscle mass was 33.5, so that's actually come down a little bit from the 14th by about a kilo, but I'm going to go through the scan properly with my PT later, but when I was having a conversation with one of the other PTs that were there, hydration is a big part of that. It's not necessarily that you've lost muscle mass, but my hydration had come down. I do have a problem with drinking enough water on the weekends, on my not training days. Specifically, I struggle on Sundays. I do some other stuff with friends. I have other obligations, and drinking lots of water and needing to pee all the time actually really hinders my ability to do those things. So my hydration on Sundays actually dips, which is unfortunately right before I do my scan. So I don't know how much of an impact that's having, but what I need to do is making sure that I am drinking enough water and getting that hydration level up as much as possible during the week. I've gotten pretty bad at tracking it on the app because it's using the watch, because it's a little bit fiddly. There's like lag on the input when I'm trying to put in the water, and I'm really impatient with it. So I just like, if I know I've drank that much water, I've not even bothered writing it down. But I need I need to get more like my food, where I'm like, I have to write it down regardless if I know this is enough. I'm going to make sure that I've got that data tracked, because at the end I can always go back and I can share that data with you guys so you can see exactly what I was eating, what the breakdowns were. Or I can use it if I get asked by my PT, oh, what were you doing like week 7? I'll be like, oh yeah, here's the data. Obviously, I need to make sure that I'm tracking my data for those reasons. My body fat mass is now 9.2 kilograms. And for comparison, my stats for the 14th was 70.8 kilograms weight, 34.3 kilograms skeletal muscle mass, and 10.4 kilograms of body fat mass. So again, I don't know if I've necessarily dropped a kilogram of muscle. I really hope not. That's obviously not the goal of this, but if I have, what I'll do is consider increasing my calories, more protein. I'll talk to the PT and sort of see what I can do to prevent that from happening and increase my mass moving forward. So yeah, some pretty big drops there. We have a 1.2 kilos of body fat that we've burned in the last 2 weeks, which is much more in line with what our goal was, which is about half a kilo a week. Before we were going a lot more, probably about a kilo a week, and that was a little bit fast. And ultimately I want to be able to keep the weight off after it's down. I don't want to have a situation where my metabolism just like bounces back in a second I eat one burger. It's like, oh yeah, I'm just going to store all of that fat and be like, damn it, I had abs for all of 5 minutes. Yeah, so my body fat percentages and body mass index, on the 14th, my BMI was 22.7. So, hold on, if I hold these up here, I can look more at you guys while I'm talking about this. Yeah, so 22.7 was the 14th. My body mass index as of today was 21.9, so that's changed. Body fat percentage was 14.6%, now 13.6%, so that's down an entire percentage point. And my waist to hip ratio was 0.86. It's now down to 0.84, which is great. Honestly, that's everything's working. The problem I'm finding is that my jeans are now starting to get a little bit loose. I've got 30-inch waist. I have got a couple of 28-inch waist jeans, and that's kind of like the smallest I've been able to find. So I'm gonna have to pick up a few more pairs of that, or just start wearing a belt. Probably just a belt would be easier at this point. It's always a little tricky when you get to this point where you start dropping and you're like, okay, I really need to do something about my trousers. But the more you drop, then you all of a sudden the new trousers you bought become irrelevant and you've wasted money. So it's probably a good idea to if you've got a belt at hand, use that and just for a little bit until you get down to a point where you go, okay, I'm not going to be going down anymore. Then invest in the clothes. This is a mistake I made during my first cut. About halfway through, I realized all my clothes were looking awful on me. They were looking really baggy, so I went out and bought new stuff. And then I dropped even more, and then that new stuff ended up looking pretty bad. So I was like, oh, okay, that was a mistake. So it's just a case of keeping that in mind. So yeah, other things to note, the kilo came off of my midsection. The 14th scan said that my body fat, segmental fat, was 5.3 kilograms on my stomach and chest area. And on today's scan, that's dropped down to 4.5. So we have dropped it off that, and obviously from the photos you saw, you can start to sort of see the effects that that is having. Overall, I'm ecstatic with the results. That's incredible. Coming down from 23% body fat to 13%, that's a full 10% drop in 8 weeks. That's a huge amount of fat burned. And yeah, it's come down from what was my original one? It was like, yeah, we've dropped more than 10 kilograms of fat at this point. I've got the other scan somewhere else. I just did a comparison of the last scan. But with body development, it's been incredibly successful for what my goals were. Ultimately, I'm looking forward to seeing what to do next. There's discussion about how I'm going to put on muscle mass, and also I want to keep burning fat, so I don't know if I'm going to be rotating surplus weeks and deficit weeks, but I will have that discussion with my PT, and we'll figure that out a little bit later. So stay with me, guys. I'll go over the food that I'm going to be eating for today, and then we'll do a wrap up for the whole day, and yeah, really looking forward to it. So take care, and I'll catch you in a little bit. Hello everyone, this is meal 2 for today. So I have 324 grams of chicken thighs and 166 grams of avocado. Going to be eating this again, eating a little bit light today because I'm not training. Back into training tomorrow. I've got some new trainers, so I won't be messing up my foot, and I'm really looking forward to it. So guys, I'm going to jump in and eat this, and we'll do a wrap up of everything for this month a little while later. Overall, really incredible results. Dropped more than 10 kilos worth of body fat. Although I did get a bit of a curveball, my PT reached out to say that I need to do a carb load and rescan because my hydration was a little bit low and my carbs as well, and glycerin. So I'm going to talk to him to figure out exactly what that entails. But before doing a direct comparison, it's probably a good idea to understand that. So we're going to hold off a little bit on that. But I do want to do a quick review of the month as a whole, and I sort of just get across where I'm at and what I'm thinking as we move forward into phase 3, March. But yeah, really, really awesome overall. I really enjoy looking at myself in the mirror again, which is something which sounds a bit weird to say, a little bit vain, but when you put the work in and you can see it paying off, it's an incredible feeling. And overall, sticking to the diet, it wasn't that hard. I think the biggest challenge is when you're around other people and other people want you to enjoy alcohol with them, or if they want to cook for you and you're just very much like opting out, like, oh no, I can't eat that, or no, unless I track everything in MyFitnessPal, you can go a bit insane with it. And ultimately, it's not sustainable. It was good for this experiment so you guys can see exactly what is achievable with this kind of diet. And it's something that you will be able to stick to. If you can get through the first, I don't know, I'd say first 2 weeks. I think it's pretty easy to go to it. It's super cheap on the budget. It's the food tastes great every time I sit down to eat because of the fasting every 18 hours or 18 to 20 hours, depending on what I've been doing. I feel like I'm just like ready to just devour every meal. I'm like salivating. I'm going mad, and it's the same stuff I'm eating over and over. It's chicken thighs and pork, different kinds of pork, which would be pork belly, or pork loins, pork chops, just all that kind of stuff because it's mostly cheap. And you can mix it up if you're doing it for yourself. For example, you could be adding fish to your diet. You could be eating more chicken breast if you want to go down that route. Turkey, beef steak, beef steak, lamb, liver. Liver would be incredible if you want to be incredibly cost efficient, but at the same time, didn't enjoy it myself, so probably not something I'm going to be doing again. And that side of it, my shopping bills were coming out on a push to about mid £20 per week, depending on whatever things I had to pick up. On the cheapest end in Lidl, it was possible to do a whole shop for about £15. That'll last you 7 days. The only problem I found with that is that for one person, the food doesn't quite last long enough. So really you have to do it in 2 trips. And you want to get the 1 kilo bag of chicken thighs, and you want to get if you get 4 pork chops in a single packet, which you can from Sainsbury's, then 4 days is going to be about the lifespan of it. So you can't really get 2 of those and have it last you a week. I mean, you could chuck it in the freezer and then defrost it and stuff, but who has time for that, right? Yeah, no, definitely keeping my carbs over 15% is important. And I think my PT is going to recommend that I put them up even higher now that my body fat is so low. Well, falling lower and lower. I imagine that I'm going to need to offset the fact that I'm not going to have as much to burn, and I don't want to liquidate muscle. So that's something I'm going to work on quite heavily. I'm looking forward to seeing what the next steps are to put on muscle whilst keeping the fat off, or still finding ways to burn fat whilst also adding on a little bit of muscle as we go through. But I did actually I have got a 15-minute consultation with the PT for finishing in the top 5 on the weight loss, which is great. I just need to figure out exactly what I'm gonna ask, and I think it's going to be along the lines of, is there a way to continue losing fat, and what classes should I switch to in order to move on to gaining muscle, and what supplements I should be adding in. So that's going to be some big changes in March. Is that I'll probably be adding supplements in like creatine or digestive enzymes to help me pick up the proteins from food. I'm also going to lift the restaurant ban. My dad's birthday's coming up. I really want to take him out, and it was a bit of a shame when I was with my mum's birthday, and I couldn't really enjoy any of the food because I was very much involved in this experiment. So I'm going to give myself a little bit more leeway to do that. Alcohol is still, for the most part, going to be off the table. I'm not entirely sure if it will be 100% yet. I will let you know, and I will track anything that I do consume. It depends a little bit with my PT, how my calorie goals are going to work out. And then overall, I'll figure out what I'm going to do from there. But things I can 100% recommend, the Garmin Watch has been incredible. Quite a few people have used the Apple Watches, and the numbers are like crazy wrong from what I can see, what's being posted in chat. When being questioned, the data doesn't really stand up to what's going on. So Garmin Venu Watch, which you can find in the affiliate link down below, that helps the channel out. If you purchase it through there, can 1,000,000% recommend it. It doesn't track your burned calories 100%, but it will give you information that you can then act on, and you can then figure out what's going on. If you want to take it a little bit more seriously, you can get like a heart chest monitor and use that. I ultimately just went with the watch, and that worked for me, and it was a very affordable option to work with. For some people, it might be a bit of a high price for it, and you can consider some cheaper ones. I still really strongly recommend the Garmin Watch. The software is really good, super easy to use, and the data is very good. So if you want to take it seriously, you're going to be saving a bunch of money on food, may as well get yourself a Garmin Watch to go with it. The 2 Meals a Day book is something you should definitely read. It was incredible. The insights in that book were a huge part of my success. I followed it to the most extreme levels, and I saw extreme results. I think in some ways you don't have to take the book as gospel, and it's important to take other sources of information that you've learned into consideration. Oh, I keep trying to yawn because it's past midnight now and I should be in bed, but we're committed to finishing this. But I'd recommend picking up the book. It's on Audible. I listened to it in my car when I was driving to places up to where I work. So it's a good way of making those trips instead of just listening to various rock music or music that's slowly making you feel older and older from the early 2000s, and just sort of getting some audiobooks. I'd strongly recommend Audible. In fact, if you haven't got an Audible account, you can go and register and get yourself one free credit, and then you can pick up the book for free. So you don't even need to buy it if you're not an Audible customer, but I would recommend it. It's so good for learning about anything you want to. There's a huge range of books on there, and it makes commuting a lot more interesting. Or if you just end up being on a treadmill, that's also something else you can do with your time. I did buy some new trainers today, which I will be using from this point forward. I would recommend getting good trainers for this. You don't want to be using the old beaten up things that you've had for 5-6 years. If you're doing hard running or anything like that, any sort of like HIIT or hard cardio where you're going to be making impacts with your feet, you can get injuries and you want to be very careful not to do that. I'd also recommend that you go check out the videos that I linked for Body Development, their channel. It's you can get an idea of what kind of workouts I was doing. I'm not going to go into the full details of everything I was doing, as you've seen through this whole series, because it'd be unfair to the PTs running the gym. You should definitely check out the videos. You get a bit of an idea. If you're a local to Bath in the UK and you decide that you want to consider signing up, great. If not, you can sort of get an idea of the level of activity that you're going to be looking at. Ultimately, the key number that you're looking for is about a 500 calorie deficit per day. From there, you can then start making decisions about eating more, eating less, depending on what's happening on the scale. And you're looking for 2 kilogram loss a month. Total, about half a kilo a week. If you're losing more than that, then something is not being tracked right. Either you're not putting the food in correctly, or you're not tracking your exercise. Your watch isn't tracking your exercise correctly. But also make sure if you do get the watch, set it up specifically for you. Make sure you put in all your data so that you're getting the most accurate readings that you can. To round this out, we should go through the day's stats. Today I ate 1,794 calories. Again, I didn't train today because I was just resting my foot, got the new trainers, ready to go again tomorrow. Calories out, 2,381. My total deficit was 587. So, yep, definitely on the mark with what our target is for our deficit. However, MyFitnessPal is set for me being quite active and assumes a half a kilo loss a week deficit that I should be eating 1,790. So what that actually means is my deficit today is probably closer to 1,000, which is not ideal. That's again too high. You want to take that down slow. It's okay if the weight comes off slower. I know some people maybe have weddings or swimsuit season and other things like that they're worried about. And you can do it quite quickly if you stick very strongly and go with a 1,000 calorie deficit, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's very hard. You'll start finding it you don't have energy and it's going to be very hard to stick to it. 500 is super easy to achieve. It's sustainable, and as the weight comes down slowly, you'll feel motivated and you'll stick to it. Going mad and going completely all in is a fast way to burn yourself out and make sure that you end up sneaking some snacks in here and there, and then all of a sudden you stop tracking the meals and then it all falls apart. So going through this, things to keep in mind. What are your goals? Honestly, you should write them down. Not everybody's going to have access to a body scan machine like I've had throughout this to compare. I will do a proper comparison when I get a rescan as recommended by my PT. But you should make efforts to get on the scale once a week, just before you've had anything to drink and after you've been to the bathroom in the mornings. Step on the scale, take a note. It doesn't matter if it's up or down, if you do it in between. I did it every Sunday because it's just something I've been doing throughout all of my training, once a week. And just keep an eye on it. And if you start seeing things slipping in the wrong direction, you can start making changes. Having data and then making decisions based on that data is better than just feeling it out. I'd also recommend that you get a scale. Should have one linked down below in the affiliate links, just for weighing food. You need to do this. You can use MyFitnessPal to scan the barcodes and you can weigh everything. But if you're in a rush and you don't want to weigh stuff, you can average stuff out. If you know, for example, a packet of pork belly has 500 grams in it, and you eat half of it, you can just assume that you've eaten 250. You eat the next day's worth, 250, it will average out and you'll have the correct amount of calories written down. Other things to recommend for workouts, if you're not a local to Bath, Buff Dudes channel, I'd strongly recommend those. I trained using their methods. I learned how to do a lot of my exercises for my regular lifts in the normal gym, like pure gym, without a PT, and their content is great. They do sell books and stuff for their workouts. They do recipe books, which is really awesome if you want to just eat really positive body development food without necessarily all of the junk that goes into it or the bro science. They've got a really cool stuff. Their content is very entertaining, and it was a big inspiration for why I got into training myself in the first place. So please go check them out. Check them a follow, and yeah, it's when you look at yourself after you've changed. For me, I mean, my first thought this morning was, "Oh my god, I look a little bit too small." That was my initial thought. I've now had time to reflect on it. I feel great about it, and I know what my next goals are. And I knew this was only the halfway point. At some point I thought that this might be it, but I saw some photos of what is achievable with what's been achieved with other clients for the next part, which is building muscle. And I realized, yeah, I'm about halfway through my goals. I've trimmed the fat down, and now I want to build a bit more muscle mass to go on. But I've already got some there from when I was training using the Buff Dudes methods over the years prior. So I'm not like super skinny, but I'm still not quite at the point where I'm like, yeah, this is 100% finished. Yeah, so for you Chads in Training, I really hope this series has to date has been helpful to you. If you can, just shoot us a subscribe, follow, ping the bell for notifications, because we're only halfway there, and I'm going to keep going. I'll let you know what the changes I'm going to make are for phase 3 when we get there, and I will do a rescan over the coming days. But you've all been great, and if you've made it this far into the series, thank you so much. All of your support, and even just watching is a huge help and motivation for myself to just keep going on this. Guys, so I'm going to wrap it up there and wish you all the best for the evening or the morning or the afternoon, depending on where you are. But whatever it is, I'll catch you guys on the next one. So today is the start of phase 3. We are now officially in March. I need to talk to my PT to get us an idea about what the next steps are going to be, what kind of supplements I want to change up, my diet and stuff like that. I will explain the rules of phase 3 when I know what they are myself, that I will set up. And yeah, today it's a little bit later in the day. I've been really busy this morning, lots of meetings and stuff for work and just projects I've just had to be working on. So I've gotten through all that. It's now coming up to 1 o'clock. I'm just waiting for the timer on my, I won't say its name because then it will start responding. Who shall not be named, Alexa. We will, I'll go ahead then show you what I'm going to be eating. But overall, slept really well. I got to bed really late last night, though, to be fair, because I was doing video editing. I would have ideally liked a little bit more sleep, but when I went down, I was very much in deep sleep. I am fully healed up. My foot doesn't hurt at all now, so I'm going to be ready to do stretch and move later. It's a little bit earlier in the evening as well, so I've got a little bit more time afterwards to spend on more video editing. Funny enough, it kind of feels like one of the main things I'm doing with my free time. But mood is really positive. I've been feeling great over the results of the previous phase. A huge amount of change in just 1 month, and if you go all the way back to January 3rd, that's an incredible amount of fat loss. I just want to, before I do a proper full comparison, get the scan that my PT said they wanted to see when I've eaten a few more carbs and been more hydrated, and then we can do a proper true comparison with that. Anyway, guys, I'm not going to go in too long for this introduction. I'm going to serve up food very soon, and I will show you exactly what we're eating today, and I will catch you right there. And guys, this is going to be meal 1 for today. So a lot more carbs on the plate. There's 417 grams of potato. Main reason for this is my PT talked about carb loading. So I'll just eat a few more carbs and see what that means. I'll find out what he means a little bit later. A little bit of a caveman way of doing it. Just, yeah, he said this, so I'm going to do that and see what happens. I've got 250 grams of pork belly, which I'm really looking forward to. I haven't had this in a couple of weeks because I was a little bit sickly of it. And 30 grams of absolute dark chocolate. Really easy meal and gonna go down a treat. So I'm looking forward to eating this, and I'll catch you up for meal 2 a little bit later before we get ready for stretch and move. Okay guys, this is meal 2 for today. This is 279 grams of potato and 369 grams of chicken thighs with 100% dark chocolate is about 32 grams there. I've got a bit more advice on what I'm going to be aiming for with my next stages of my diet. So I'm going to eat this now and I'll fill you in on the details a little bit later. So today I did another scan. I wanted to get a better comparison with higher hydration levels to my previous scan, because my hydration's actually come down from February to mid of February to the last scan that I just did. And ultimately it was recommended that I drink a bit more water, eat more, do a bit of a carb load, and then do another scan. So I did that. I ate around 100 grams of carbohydrates, which is just under 2 times what I normally eat. I'm going to try and get that up much higher on my carb load days. It was kind of like I was trying to figure it out, but I wasn't 100% sure on how much I should have been aiming for. So I'm going to go much higher. Probably going to be looking to eat around 150 to 200 grams on my carb load days and eating at maintenance. My new scan didn't tell me anything more than my old scan. I just need to be making sure I'm drinking a lot more water. I do find that on weekends where I'm traveling away, I really don't drink as much because I don't want to keep needing to pee. So I mentally check out and don't actually drink as much. And then when I do the scan on Monday mornings, we're nice and dehydrated, which is then obviously reflects in the scans and doesn't give me 100% accurate readings. So things to improve on and keep pushing myself at is going to be making sure that I get that 4.5 liters of water in me every day, or at the very least 4.5 liters every day at minimum. Ideally I want to take it up to drinking 6, so that will be 3 of the big bottle that I generally fill up, the 2 liter bottles. Drink all of that and see how that affects my hydration levels over the week. For my carb load days, I've got a plan for that. I'm gonna add in sweet potato. It's another thing that could be found by Cave Chad. So I'm going to be trying to figure out how to cook those so they're nice and fluffy. Apparently around 200 grams of sweet potatoes, about 150 grams of carbohydrates, which if I combine that with the potatoes that I'm normally eating on a daily regular, it will be about 200 in carbs in one day, which for those carb load days would be pretty good. And that will also give me a lot of extra calories towards my goal of hitting maintenance on every 3rd day. So it's coming up to lunch right now. I interestingly woke up this morning. I was extremely hungry. I ate a lot more. I actually was first day in like a very long time. I was in a surplus and I was feeling ravenous when I woke up this morning. Obviously I didn't cave in. Still fighting the good fight, but it wasn't easy. I'm not gonna lie. It was a little bit difficult, and I'd eaten more carbohydrates as well. So that's really interesting. I don't know if my hunger is kind of linked to it, because my diet prior to this was very carbohydrate focused. There was a lot of potato, a lot of pasta, stuff like that was actually in my diet. And I don't know if it's just a case of like my body just gets it and just goes, oh, energy, I need this right away, or what it is. It might just be today is just, I'm just feeling pretty hungry. That's okay. Tonight I have fit to work out for, so it's going to be a big training day. That's always one of my toughest classes, as you've seen throughout the whole series. Looking forward to it. Got new trainers. The new trainers I got to try out yesterday. Fantastic, no problems with my foot at all. Definitely invest in a good pair of trainers when you are doing training, especially if you're doing anything like HIIT or more cardio focused. The impact on your feet, it can really set you back. Like I've missed like 3 classes from impacting of my feet across the whole time. Now for some of you that might be quite funny that I'm stressing out about only missing 3 classes across 9 weeks at this point, but for me it's very important because this is a goal that I really set for myself and want to achieve. So anytime that I'm taking a step back from that feels a little bit disappointed in myself. It's something I'll deal with, but this is for me, so I have to be the one who holds myself accountable to achieve my goals. So guys, I'm going to check it out from here, but I will catch up with you with meal 1 of the day in just a little bit, and we'll go through the motions, and looking forward to another great day. So catch you real soon. Okay guys, this is meal 1 for today. So we have 330 grams of potato, and we have 250 grams of pork belly, and 30 grams on the nose of 100% absolute dark chocolate. Really, really calorie dense. Great for giving me the energy that I'm going to need to get through the day. I've got fit tonight, so I definitely want to make sure I'm stocked up. Really looking forward to this. And yeah, nothing really much to add. You can add some seasoning, some salt or something to it if you're doing this at home. Just Yeah, enjoy the meals like this. I really always look forward to the pork for the first meal of the day. And guys, this is meal two for today. This is 1,039 calories. We have 361 grams of chicken thighs and 143 grams, 140 grams and some change avocado. It's generally standard meal, not adding any chocolate. This is going to bring the daily total up to $23.99. So that's essentially going to be what's right for a Wednesday, because I know I burn about 28 to 29. As long as I don't drive to the gym, I've got to make sure that I walk over there, do my workout, come back. It's going to be a really big session because it's fit. So I should actually probably be by 28, 29, maybe even 3,000 on the potential burn for today, which will be great. That will then essentially make sure that I'm going to be at 500 deficit. So anyway, I'm going to enjoy this and I'll catch you guys for the wrap up a little bit later. So overall, really good day. We had stretch and move this evening, and that's kind of a difficult class because for me, it's as you go through the sequences, they get progressively more complicated and you just have to get used to the movements. It's not so difficult for me to actually perform the movements, but it's sort of getting my brain to work in a way where I'm going to actually perform the movements at speed that's relevant to the class, and I'm not going to just fall over myself. It's just going to take a bit of practice, and I can always check out the videos from body development and then try them at home to get ready for the class. And it's just a case of maybe just doing a few drills, maybe just twice a day, just to get used to it, so that when I come back to doing that in the class, then when I'm progressing through the more complex movements, it's going to be a little bit easier. Overall, today was a really good day. I had high energy. I've been in a good mood. I'm going to rescan tomorrow at body development. I ate a lot more carbohydrates today. I was told to carb load, so I kind of got some new advice, and for that, it's going to be eat my maintenance calories for one day and double my carbs. So that's going to be more. I'm eating around 60 grams of carbs. That's going to go up to about 120. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to eat my maintenance, and then I'm going to have 2 days where I'm at my deficit as usual, and then I'm going to eat my maintenance. So essentially, every third day, I am going to eat maintenance with double carbs. And the point of this is to try and start building muscle at this point, whilst I still trim fat. But apparently, my body fat is now down closer to around 11, 12% at this point, which is great. And I'm hoping to see from the results of tomorrow, because my glycerin will be up because I've eaten more carbohydrates today, that I can get a better reading, and then I can use that for the comparison for the end of the month versus the start of the month. It's going to be plus a few days, but February is a short month anyway, so it kind of all balances out. For my macros today, I did actually increase the carbs. You saw I had a huge amount at lunch. I had about 400 grams of potatoes, followed up by 300 in the evening. That turns out to be not a lot of carbohydrates as a total. That's only 100 for all of that, compared to like if you were eating pasta or something. So there's a lot of things to consider about how I'm going to get that number up to 120. There's things like sweet potato that I could consider. Parsnips will be back on the menu. I'll take a look into that. Because I'd like to avoid like getting mash or anything like that that's in a packet, because that again is all been processed stuff. My calories for today were actually, for the first time in the entire challenge, actually for the first time since, well, for a while now, I ended up in a surplus. So that's not so great, but it was very close, and I can explain exactly where I went over. I ate 2,613. I burned 2,025. My surplus was 188. So what went wrong there? I actually drove to the gym. If I'd have walked there and walked back, I was in my shorts and it was quite cold. That would have given me the 180 calories. That would have matched it out, and we'd have been at the perfect point of eating our maintenance. Had I just not eaten the chocolate with the dinner meal that I had this evening, that would have also put me down 182 calories, no, 186 calories, which would have left me 2 calories within my goal. It's not the biggest end of the world, because on most other days I've been at a bigger deficit. So what I'm going to do is tweak around and just figure out on that for a day. I know that I need to eat around 2,500. I think 2,400 is probably about the amount that I want to eat on one of those maintenance days, unless the maintenance day falls on a Monday or a Wednesday. Then it's probably going to need to be closer to about 2,600. But that's not bad. I can figure that out. My cost for shopping is going to go up a little bit because I'm going to be increasing my calorie count. But again, with the stuff I'm purchasing, it's not going to be dramatic. It's not going to break the bank. And overall, it should still be very manageable. Feeling great. Looking forward to essentially phase 3 of this fitness journey. And yeah, guys, if you want to see more great content like this and which will help you along the way when you are trying to get your Chad bod, please remember to like and subscribe, and also send some comments down below if you've got any questions, and I'll be happy to answer them, help you with what you're trying to achieve, or maybe you just want to throw a few words of support, which would be great, because I'm really missing rum, and it's taken a lot of willpower not to just have a glass in the evenings. All right, guys, that's going to be it from me. I'm going to check out here and catch up with you tomorrow. So have a good one. So we talked a little bit about it in the previous videos, but what's essentially going forward here is that I'm going to be every 3 days going to be doing a carb load and eating my maintenance calories. So my overall deficit per week is going to come down on an average number, but overall it should still be in line with my goals, because my goals now is to actually try and put on some muscle whilst also still burning that fat. I'm around 12% at this point. Estimated when you take out hydration and glycerin in the system as well, which is great. Going to keep trimming that down just a little bit more. I'm going to really work on building the physique, and that is essentially going to be visible now that I'm not walking around in a skin suit, literally. So today my mood's been generally very good. I was quite hungry when I woke up this morning, to be fair. Not quite as bad as I was the day before. It's kind of hard to explain, because the day before I ate my maintenance, in fact I ate a little surplus, and it was very many more carbs than I'm used to eating, and I woke up feeling even more hungry the next day. Today, usual diet from yesterday, as you can see, and nothing spectacular, and I'm feeling fine. My mood is generally good. I've got to try and do something again that that scares me, so I'm going to push myself towards doing that again today, and I'll see how I get on. But yeah, so it's kind of difficult to say what my mindset is right now, because I'm a bit worried about that thing, and that's not going to be training related. I was absolutely, although speaking of training, yeah, I was absolutely exhausted yesterday after fit. I think I really pushed myself to my limits, and I've been staying up too late with editing and that, and I just think I hit the cap for what my body is like capable of before it says, yeah, you need to go to bed. This is enough. You've done enough. Go home. So I'm gonna try and not get myself to that level very often. That was like almost a complete shutdown. Like I was struggling to walk around my own flat and stuff because I was just so tired. But we got there in the end, and I still somehow managed to stay up till midnight shooting videos. So dedication right there, guys. Even past exhaustion, I am shooting you content of this journey so that we can do it together, and then you can work towards building your Chad bods in time for summer, or for next summer, depending on, or maybe you just want to look great for Christmas. Not that anybody's taking their shirts off at a Christmas family dinner. Although maybe you do. That's interesting, a Christmas dinner, probably a swingers party, but you do you. I'm not here to judge. Or happy Kwanzaa. I've never been to one, so maybe that's just how people celebrate Kwanzaa. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this morning part of the log. I will be back very soon with lunch, and then also my second meal of the day, and then we'll do a wrap up at the end of the day. So stay with me, and I'll catch you real soon. Here we are, everyone. This is the breakfast of champions. Oh, lunch, first meal of the day. We have 360 something grams of potatoes, 250 grams of pork belly, and 100% absolute dark chocolate, lightly seasoned with a bit of salt. Overall, very standard. If you've been watching this channel for a while now, you're very used to this, but this is a bit for accountability. And doing this kind of stuff will just make it so that you guys can stick to the diet by sort of just seeing every day, keeping track of everything. It makes it super easy to put in MyFitnessPal. I can just pretty much copy the meal from yesterday and then just change the grammage just a little bit. And it takes like 2 minutes, so it makes it super easy to track. Anyway, guys, I'm going to eat this, and then I've got some stuff to do, but I'll catch up with you soon. Hey guys, this is meal 2 for today. So I made a massive miscalculation with what was in my fridge. I was really busy today, so I didn't get a chance to run to the store, and I ran out of food. So all I had left was this 250 grams of pork belly. Unfortunately, these are so calorie dense. There's 900 calories in this. Counting what I also had at lunch, this puts me about 2,300, which is going to be Pretty close to me not hitting the 500 calorie deficit that I'm targeting for today. So I can't have anything else with this. But I'm gonna eat this. I've got a workout session coming up and I'm gonna be walking to and from the gym. So we should be okay when we get to the end of the day. I'll probably take a bit of a walk a little bit later just to clear my head and stuff. And I'll catch you guys up with the wrap up a little bit later tonight. Anyway guys, I'm gonna eat this and I'll catch you soon. So it's time to wrap up today. It was quite a tough day, honestly. Towards the end, I started to feel quite sick. I'm very low on energy now. It was a really tough workout with fit. It always is, and I generally find myself in the evenings afterwards not really having a lot of energy to do much. Oh, I'm already yawning, you see, because it's obviously time for me to get some sleep. So I'm just going to do a quick wrap up of my stats, and I'll let you know how I'm feeling tomorrow after I get a good night's rest in. Essentially, I ate 2,399 calories. I burned 3,099 calories, giving me a deficit of 700 today. Now, as I mentioned a little bit earlier before, I'm going to be looking at carb cycling. So essentially every 3 days, I'll have a day where I will eat my maintenance calories. So I'm going to eat what I eat. Sorry, fumbling over my tongue. What I eat will match with how much I burn, and I'm going to double my carb intake. So I'm looking for 120 grams minimum. Ideally, I'm looking for about 28% of my calories to come from carbs, because that'll be double on a percentage basis. So for that, we are going to use sweet potato. I'm going to find a recipe or find a way. I say recipe, I'm just going to find out how to cook it so it's soft, so I can just eat it as mash on the plate. I don't really want to be messing about with it too much. I don't want to spend 3 hours trying to cook it in an oven only to then have to cut it up and eat it like chips. That's something I'm not looking into. So I'm going to do a bit of research into that. And yeah, that should give me about 150 grams, I guess. If a 200 gram sweet potato, it'll be worth about 150 grams of carbohydrates, which then combined with the regular potatoes will bring us up to 210 or somewhere around that region, which will be over 28%. But at the same time, I can then play with those numbers a little bit, just find out what works for me. Anyway, guys, I'm not going to be here all night, so I'm going to wish you farewell now, and we'll catch up tomorrow for the next day. So take care, and I'll see you then. So far, we have absolutely smashed every expectation so far for what we set for ourselves. I planned to be at this level of body fat, which is now, according to my PT, around 12%. According to my scan, it says about 13%, but there's a couple of things to consider, like hydration and stuff like that. And I actually plan to get to about 15% by May. Already hit that by March. So now we're rolling into phase 3. Alexa, stop. That is for lunch. So we're going to keep this one quite brief. Today's Friday. Friday's class is generally not that intensive. I've got to travel. I'll probably be traveling over to the gym in the car because I've got some errands I have to run. So what I'm going to end up doing is eating probably around 2,500 today. And maybe about 26, 27, we'll see. But I've got sweet potatoes, I've got parsnips, I'm completely stocked up. I did a shop today. Actual fact, I spent more on chocolate than I did the rest of the shopping because they have the 100% absolute dark chocolate on sale at the moment. So it was about a 25, 30% off. So I was just like, okay. And then I bought like all 12, like they came in a single case. I just bought one of those, spent about more than £20 on chocolate, put that in the cupboard. And now I'm going to be sorted for the next couple of months on that, which is great. Well, I say a couple of months, it's probably about a month. I'm going through a bar every day and a half, and I've got 12. So, well, yeah, it depends. Depends on my calories, because some days I'm not eating it every day. So, you know, it should see me through at least a month. That's the goal. We'll see if I need to get more. Right, guys, I need to respond to that buzzer. But yeah, feeling great. No problems. Been really busy this morning, really focusing on my work and just getting stuff done. And yeah, ready to go and kick the day in the ass. So no problems on this side. So I'll catch up with you guys once dinner is ready, lunch, and I'll catch you soon. Hey guys, here we are for our carb load day. We've gone a bit mad here. We've got 311 grams of potato, 1 thick cut pork chop, and like 424 grams of sweet potato. That said, that's with the skin, so I don't entirely know how much it is. So what I'm going to do after I finish this, so I'm going to weigh out the skins that I'm not going to eat, and I'll chuck that, I'll deduct that from the calorie calculation. But this is a massive meal, and I'm really looking forward to eating this and being able to eat a few more carbs again. It'd be interesting to see what kind of impact that has on my mood, my energy, and also my training. I want to start putting on some muscle, and I trust the PT. Every 3 days do this, so I'm going to do it. Everything else I've done is worked out, so let's continue the trend. I'll catch you guys up for meal number 2 a little bit later. And guys, this is meal 2 for today. So I have 159 grams of avocado, 368 grams of chicken thighs, and 235 grams of parsnip. I've got my little cheat sheet over to the right. This is why the camera tilts. You can just sort of see it there with my chicken scratch handwriting. I'm going to eat this down and I'm going to get ready for upper weights for the evening, and I'll do a wrap up for the day. But all in all, we're on a carb day, so we're very heavily pushing them carbs. Overall, today's session was actually quite tough. I was really struggling with the squats. To be honest, every time I try and get to that point later in the week, the squats become a huge challenge. So definitely something to keep in mind. I try to go heavier on weights for things like shoulder press and the bent over rows, and the problem is like I'm kind of stuck between the 12 kilos and the 16 kilo weights on that, because the 12 I feel like I could push myself a little bit harder, but the 16s my form starts breaking apart, so I'm just not ready to pick them up yet, and I just need to be more patient. It's all about form and intent, less so about the actual weight, so I just need to keep working at it and see how things go. General mood right now, a little hard to say, to be honest. I had to do that thing earlier, which unfortunately I was unable to go through with it. So again, not great, but try again and see what happens, right? Sooner or later, I'll probably be able to go through with it. But until then, I can't stress about it too much. As much as I'm disappointed right now, it will be okay in the long run. That all aside, my mood and that from food, generally really good. I would have liked to have eaten more for dinner, but from the calories, because pork belly is so dense, entirely on me. I should have made sure that I had enough food to last me through today, so I'm gonna have to go tomorrow morning. Good news is, because I don't start eating until midday, I've got time to grab food in the morning. I don't have to wake up and feel like, oh, where's my breakfast? You know, one of those kinds of people. Where's my breakfast and my coffee, damn it? I need pictures of Spider-Man. Anyway, I'm going to just start going off on complete random tangents at this point, because I really need to get some sleep. But I will catch up with you guys for day 61 tomorrow. And yeah, take it easy. We're all in this together. And good luck with your chatbots. See you soon. Quite an intense day. Had a really tough upper body session for Fridays. It's generally do that exercise every week. It gets tougher every time, which is kind of weird. You get used to it, and then as soon as you feel like you are, bang, you're right back there, struggling with the weights and stuff. But it's all good. It's all pushing myself to go further and further. It's kind of late, so I'm just going to do a quick update on my calories for the day, give you an idea, and then we've got day 62 tomorrow, Saturday, so it's going to be a relaxing day, less calories taken, and I don't have another carb day until Monday. So my calories in today was 2,597. My calories out was 3,075, giving me a deficit of 478. Today was supposed to be a maintenance day, so I was supposed to eat the extra 478 calories. So I was actually about 500 under. I did actually increase the amount I ate significantly. I could have hit this number if I'd have eaten like 200 grams more of chicken thighs, which would have been just one more out of the pack. Something to keep in mind, I wasn't expecting to burn this many calories on a Friday. It's just, I was actually running late for my session, so I sprinted over to the gym. Then obviously had a really tough workout. Came back. Yeah, it's just kind of my calorie burn has creeped up. It's always surprises me. It's higher than I'd think it was, because I'm not that active at home. Like I literally work from my desk and stuff. But then when I really push myself and burn, it just seems like I get a significant amount out of it. So it just means I just have to eat a bit more and on those days, and I'll just keep tweaking it until I eventually hit the sweet spot. Alright guys, that's going to be it for me today. So rest easy and best of luck with your chatbots.